In case of in case of JavaScript, how we use it to access this input element value?
Using value.
Suppose assume an on-click method. Sorry.
Using
suppose
value.
on click of the button. Go ahead.
So you're asking
by using which method?
By using value.
So assume we have an input element and button, right? So in case of JavaScript, how we use it to get the value whatever we entered to in this input element? Did you remember DOM manipulation or DOM methods? Document dot get element by ID, right?
Yeah.
Correct. We will pass the ID and we will get the dot value, right? So what will happen? Whatever the input element that we entered, it will be taken by using the document dot get element by ID and passing ID and value. Okay, if we are going to use the name, right? Document dot get element by name. Okay, so if we are going to use the document dot get element by selector, if we are going to use any class name or dot class, something like that, right? We are supposed to use these methods. Okay, but in React also we can use those methods, but React has given one reference hook called useref. Okay, by using the useref hook, we can create any reference to any elements inside of our React component. Okay, so by using useref, we can create the reference element, right? So this reference element we can pass to any element, HTML element, by passing or creating an attribute called ref. Okay, for that ref, whatever the reference variable that we created, that we can create to this reference variable. Okay, so if we want to give a default value, right? So we can give the default value by passing the value in the constructor. Okay, so if you see the default the values inside of this useref can be accessed by using by using the dot current property, we can access the inside the values of the useref. Okay, so if I'm going to print here console.log of current dot, so current is a to the reference values whatever it is updated. If I print here with dot current dot, Okay, I will check the default value. Okay, first we'll see about current value. So whenever I'm trying to add my pizza, right? So I'm going to add. Okay, so what will happen on click of add pizza? It is going to show the current value, right? Pizza dot current value, correct?
Okay.
So what I'm trying to do, I am adding this whatever pizza we are trying to add, right? I am adding to my pizza list, right? As a state variable.
Okay.
Pizzas in store I can mention, right? Okay, pizza list dot join. We have now if I am trying to add, okay, you can see the new pizza got added to the store, right? Store is nothing but whatever we have added to this pizza list, right? So it will add and it will show here. So play this pizzas list in an unordered list, right? What we can do, we can call our dump component, right? Remember, we created one dump component to show the list of pizzas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call my dump component by passing pizzas, what it accepting pizzas, right? Is equal to. So we have to pass the list, pizza list. Okay, let me add one. Okay. Okay. So I mentioned for clarity, this is our pizza store beginning. This is our end of store, right? So now pizzas in store are empty, and we are displaying the calling the pizzas list by passing pizza list. So now whenever we are trying to add a new pizza, right? What it is happening? It is adding the pizzas to the pizza list state property, and the state variable we are passing to for pizzas list to display the list of pizzas. So yeah, so the prop is updated, so automatically the component is trying to re-render, right? Excuse me. it is trying to add these values.
Yes.
Are you following it?
Yes.
Yeah. So to create the dumb components. Okay. So doing the development, right? So first we have to identify what are the dumb components that we can create easily. So after create the dumb components, what are the components that require the state variables, right? State variables access. Those components we can make them as a smart components. Understood that? So in this case, just this Pidgeot, just it will display the list in the Pidgeot. But Pidgeot operations, what it is trying to do, it is trying to add the Pidgeot to the store. So in that case, we require some state variables, right? So this Pidgeot ops will be the smart component. Pidgeot list will be the our component. Okay, clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next we are going to start with the new concept called React Lifecycle. Okay, let me open. Okay. React component lifecycle. Okay. So React framework provides the developer to control and customize the component based on the lifecycle events. So we have a control to customize the component's behavior by using the React lifecycle events. Okay, so we have categorized these events into three. Okay, three types. Okay, what are those events? We will call them as a mounting, updating, unmounting. Okay, mounting, updating, unmounting. So what is mounting? Okay, mounting is nothing but the process of creating the React component and inserting into the DOM. Okay, this process we will call it as a mounting. Okay, process of creating the React component and inserting into the DOM. Next we have updating, right? So the updation component occurs when a component state changes or when any new property is received from the parent, right? The updation component occurs when a state changes or any new properties or the properties whatever it is we have earlier are changed. Those are received from props. Okay, this we will call as a updating, right? Unmounting. Okay, so the process React element or component detached from DOM, we call it as a unmounting. Okay, the process of detaching the component from DOM, we call it as a unmounting. Detaching the component from DOM. So first we will start with the mounting. Okay, each and React component has lifecycle events that are triggered at certain moments depending on what a component has done or what it is going to do. Okay, some of the lifecycle events or methods will be executed once, or some of them will executed repetitively, right? Based on the action or the event that we performed on the component. Based on that, the life cycle methods can execute only once or repetitively or multiple times those will execute. Okay, so first we will see mounting. Okay, React is the mounting events only once. Okay, mounting means these only once only these events will be. So in case of updating, these events will be many times. Okay, which means when any prop got changed, state changes, these events will occur. Okay, unmounting. It is clear, right? So this event will occur only whenever we are detached the component from this unmounting is going to execute. So now we are going to see about the mounting. What are the methods we have in the mounting phase? Okay, so React has methods get called when mounting a component occurs. Okay, which means whenever the React component is created and it is trying to insert into the DOM, okay, we have four lifecycle methods. Those are going to be called whenever mounting is going to happen. So the first one we will call it as a initialization or the constructing the mounting. So the first method is constructor. Okay, next component will mount. Okay, next we have state component methods it is going to be invoked whenever the mounting. So the component will mount not deprecated. So we should not be able to use this. We can use other 3-4 methods for the thing required based on the functionality or the based on requirement. We will use these methods: construct, get derived state from props, or render component did mount. So we know that, right? What is the use constructor? Most common use cases for constructor.
The screen got stuck, I guess.
Which screen are you seeing right now?
Yeah, now I can see.
Yeah. So we know, right, constructor. What is the most common use cases for constructor? So the constructor method is called before anything else inside of the component. Okay, so when the component is initiated, okay, this is the state we can initialize state, and if we want to, and also if you want to do any method by, okay, we saw, right, this we saw, right. So these are the most common that we will use inside of the constructor. So the component will mount got deprecated. Our next method is the get derived state from props. So when the component is mounting, the get derived state from props is the last method is going to call before component. Okay, so we can say this method is going to before render the component. So yeah, this method takes 2 arguments. Okay, what are those? Props and state. Okay, props and state. So we can set the state object based on initial props, whatever we are receiving to get derived as props. Okay, so if we are returning any object to the update state, right, it will automatically updates the state. Okay, I mean to say, yeah, just a minute. So by using the get derived state from props, we can update the state value of the component before rendering it. So assume we have a state is equal to and we have. So the get derived state will take two arguments, props comma state. So yeah, if we are returning as points, what will happen? The state value of the component points is going to change to 1000. Okay, so initial props, if we want to update the state value, we can inside of this get derived state from props. So if we don't want to do any update, right, we can return null. Okay, clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next we have the render method, right? So we know the render method. So whatever the required UI markup that we want to render, we can use the we can write inside of render method. Okay, if you want to are false, if we don't want to render anything, right? So whatever the JSX elements that we are returning from render method, those will be outputs to the as a HTML to the DOM, right? Okay, so okay, with HTML outputs to the DOM. Okay, so this is the place where we are going to use the state and props, and we are interpreting some laws to display the proper UI to the end user, right? So using state and props, we will derive UI variables, right? So next, we should not update either props or state inside of this function. Okay, neither props nor state should be modified. Okay, so render method utilizes the state props and creates a in order to show in the to the end user, right? So next we have the component did mount. Okay, so as soon as the render method has been executed, the component did mount function is going to be called. Okay, so if we want to perform any DOM manipulations, we can do it. Component did mount, we can do it. So for example, model component. So we want to have a model component to be right. So if we are trying to do it inside of what will happen? It will take time to display or render the UI. What we can do? First, we can display some UI markup. So in the component did mount, we can with the DOM and we can add the corresponding markup in the DOM manipulations by using the component did mount. And also sometimes we want to get the third party API, right? In that case, I'll use the component did mount to make the to make network hosts. We can use the component did. Okay, and also we can call the inside of this component did mount. All inside of this component did mount. So what will happen whenever we are going to it will rendering, right? It will trigger an extra rendering, but it happen before the browser updates the screen. These are the mounting methods that is inside of our lifecycle events. Okay, we have three phases: mounting, updating, and unmounting. Okay, the mounting methods are repeated only once. Okay, so we have constructor, get derived state from props, render, and component did mount. Okay, the main constructor is to initialize the, and also if we want to have any refs, we can use. Want to do any method bindings, we can do it inside of our constructor. Okay, so next we have get derived state from props. Okay, by using this, what happens? We can update the state before UI based on the props going to receive. Look at the render method next. So props, we can derive a proper UI in the to display. So in that case, we will go for render method. Okay, so the component. Okay, the component did mount will be called whenever the is trying to update to the browser. So it will call after rendering and update the component to the. So this is the better place to call the network request. In the response, we can make the response to the set state. Automatically, the component will re-render, and whatever the data that it is going to be displayed in the UI. Okay, so these are the component mounting phase. We will see the example on this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one life cycle demo.
Your voice is breaking a lot and the screen always like stopping in between.
Okay. Okay, I will share my screen.
Yeah.
So how about now?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay. So now we are going to create a component called lifecycle demo, right? So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create class component. Okay, class lifecycle demo extends react dot component, right? So whatever we are discussing, these methods can be used inside of the class level component. Okay, I will come to later how we can do it in the functional component. Okay, we have to import React from React. Okay, so first what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the constructor. Okay, console.log of lifecycle demo constructor. Okay, next what I'm going to do, I'm going to initialize the state. Okay, this dot state is equal to color is red. Okay, correct. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one method called render. Okay, inside my render method, I'm going to display the my favorite color is okay. This dot state dot color, right? So now I'm going to export default right lifecycle demo. Now in my app.js, I'm going to call this method component, right? Okay, lifecycle demo. So if we see the output, your render must return a statement. Okay, we have to return it. Okay, must call super constructor in derived class before accessing this. Okay, I will call super. Okay, now we can see the favorite color is red. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the color by using the get derived state from props. Okay, what it will take props comma state. So if I'm going to update the state, right, color yellow. Okay, so can you tell what is the value that we are going to see in the browser?
Is it yellow?
Okay. Yes. Why?
Yeah.
Since we updated the state value, right? So as per our lifecycle methods, whenever the or prior to the render method, the get derived state from props, whatever the object that we are going to return, it considers as a state and it displays the corresponding state property value. Correct?
Yeah.
If we are going to return inside get derived state from props. Okay, so now if we are returning null, what will happen? It will display just the red color as a red value. Correct? Now you can see in the browser okay, lifecycle demo constructor. Let me clear it, refresh it. Okay, now lifecycle demo constructor and inside get props. So these one are called before the render of our method. Right? I can put console login render method, right? So that we will get to know whether this order is correct or not. First the constructor call, then get derived state from props, then render method is called. So now if we are trying to update any state, that you can update prior to the render method inside of get derived state from props. Now what I'm trying to do, now I am trying to add the component did mount, right? Okay, this component did mount will be called when after the render method, right?
Yes.
Okay, now if you see, the component did mount is called after the render method. Okay, so I want to update the state of the variable after a second as a green. Okay, so how we can do it? this dot set timeout, right? You remember set timeout, what it is going to take? First function, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, inside of this function, what I'm going to do, this dot set state, right? This dot set state, I'm going to change the color as green. Okay, so what is the time interval that I want to give? Some 1000 milliseconds. Now if you observe, okay, first it renders red, then it renders green, right? Okay, for a second you will see the difference, right? So the order of the method calls is same, right? So constructor get derived state from props, render method, component did mount is called. And also you can see the whenever the state or prop changes, the get derived state from props method is called. So again it is trying to render the method. So whenever will update the state or props, then what will happen? This get derived state from props method is going to be called, and the render method is going to be called again. Okay, so this will come as part of the update of our component. Okay, next we have the updating. Okay, so in case of update, when the component is going to be updated, whenever we update the state and props, right? Okay, the data to the component, okay, state and props updates, then automatically the component will re-render in the UI, right? So some of the methods we have as part of the updating phase for the React component. Okay, the first method is, okay, so get derived state from props. You observe, right? So whenever the state got updated, right, automatically this component is, this get derived state from props is called again. So next we have component will receive props. Okay, this method got deprecated. We are not using. Next we have the should component update. Okay, should component update will decide whether we have to perform the component update or not. Okay, so if we return true, okay, it will perform the component re-render, otherwise it won't re-render. Okay, which means if we return false, it won't re-render. Okay, does not re-render. Okay, next we have the render method. Next we will have get snapshot before update. Okay, so by using this get snapshot before update, we can able to see whether the any components data updated or not. So next we have the component did update method. Okay, so these are the methods it is going to call whenever we update a component. Okay, so we'll see about these methods in tomorrow's session. Okay, so any doubts?